Which Side Podcast is a proud member of the Which Side Media Collective.
This week's episode is sponsored by the Which Side Media Collective store. This month, we're offering $5 off all of our shirts. That's every shirt you buy, you get $5 off. So our $15 shirts are now $10. Our $20 shirts are now $15. $25 are now $20. That's how you do math.
If you have problems with that, there's these online tools that can help you. A really good one for complex math equations like this is Wolfram Alpha. You can go in there, type in the price of the shirt, minus the $5, and it will tell you what it will cost. Or the shopping cart will do it for you.
Just use promo code SHIRT5.
WhicHsideCollective.org. This is episode 169.
Yeah. We talk with James DeAlto of the Vegan Chalk Challenge.
I love the Vegan Chalk Challenge. If you haven't done it yet, go do it. Plus, we throw out a challenge to our listeners if you do one. Stick around for that, hear that, and we challenge you. You get some free swag for doing it. What news and events do we have going on this week, Jordan?
Jay Chase of the NATO 3 has a pretrial court date on Wednesday, February 3rd in Chicago, Illinois. So if you can, go down there, support. Always make sure that you dress proper for court dates because it's people's lives on the line. We don't have a listener shout out this week. If you would like to shout out something on the show, just go to whichsidepodcast.com, click on the donate tab, and you get some free swag at the same time as shouting out whatever you want. Bandanas, patches, all sorts of stuff. whichsidepodcast.com.
Click on the donate tab.
I'm going to slingshot this over to Jeremy.
Thump. Thump. Usually it's a little more enthusiastic than that.
Yeah.
February 6, 1923. 172 revolutionary peasants were condemned to death in India. I love the Indian Revolution stories, especially since it's so modern, right? So
people are so unaware; they just think it's mainly Gandhi. And...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're so unaware of the struggle. I highly recommend you look into it. Learn about individuals like Bhagat Singh. I get these little tidbits of history out of the Slingshot Personal Organizer. Get one. Get yourself organized this year. If you're falling short on your New Year's resolutions, this shit will help you. You can get one at a local info shop or an online info shop like AK Press. I sincerely hope you enjoy this episode.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side? Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
I've been a big fan of you guys for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, did you not know that?
No.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah. I've been listening to you guys for quite a while. Yeah, we're friends on Facebook. Jordan, I know that.
Yeah.
Can't be me. I don't have Facebook. Sorry.
No. You're lying. Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. I discovered you guys, I don't know, maybe a year ago, something like that. And I was listening pretty religiously for a while on my hikes with my dogs. And I heard that you guys had mentioned me in your show notes. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And I actually I sent in a small donation a long time ago. And I know I I had one shout out coming to me that I didn't use. So maybe I could use it now.
Well, hey, you got an hour. Like, what the hell do you want to shout out?
Yeah, for an hour. Yeah, right. So, yeah. So no, I love your show. It's awesome. You guys are great.
Oh, thank you very much. You're making me blush now. So where do you go hiking with your dogs?
There's just a small nature park. It's kind of in the city. It's called Durant Nature Park. So it's just small. It's got a couple lakes and nobody's ever there. So I get to listen to you guys and listen to all kinds of animal rights stuff and brainstorm and write down notes about how we can save the world. So yeah.
I think it's funny, like half the people we talk to, it's like, let's save the world, and the other half, it's like, the world's fucked, we're all going down. Yeah,
I sometimes feel that way. Yeah, I think, when you're vegan and you're passionate about these things, and you do, I do oscillate between total hope and absolute despair. So I don't know. I like to try to stay optimistic. So
it's amazing. Like sometimes I find myself having those two same emotions at the exact same time.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I can cycle pretty rapidly. So yeah, sometimes. Yeah, and I have bipolar disorder too. So sometimes I'm so overwhelmed with just hope, and I think that we're going to change the world overnight, and then I'll come crashing down and be like, nothing is ever going to fucking change. So, yeah, but I try to stay balanced and hopeful as best as I can anyway.
That must be like really hard to deal with being bipolar and being such a cyclical movement where you get like huge wins and huge fucking losses.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many ups and downs, on the one hand, the odds of liberating billions of animals, is completely overwhelming to think, that's ever even possible. But, then you see signs of hope. And then I start saying things like recently, I'm like, I think 2016 is the year of animal rights and veganism. And I don't know. I kind of think that we are reaching a tipping point, at least in my analysis. I think we are reaching a tipping point a little bit more quickly than I had anticipated. So I don't know. I do feel pretty hopeful, especially with all the good things coming out, the movies coming out, especially the Cowspiracy. And now they've got a new one coming out, and I see some of these other movies coming out. And I'm like, I think these movies have the potential to really change things so quickly, especially now that we have Netflix and they can reach millions of people so easily. So that's what, yeah.
There's even one at Sundance right now in Utah, a new animal rights film. They just keep coming out with new ones.
Is it a new one? Because I saw the Sharon and Jose from Animal Equality were there. But is it a film?
Yeah, so they were there doing a virtual reality thing, and then there's an actual film called Unlocking the Cages, which is a new film that's out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down right now. Okay, have you seen it or?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay.
Even for locals, they're ridiculous, expensive tickets.
They're really hard to get. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have you heard if it's good or not?
I haven't yet. I'll probably find out really soon here.
Yeah, I just heard that it was there. I haven't heard anything else about it yet, unfortunately.
Okay, well that's exciting.
So cool. Is it really just like the movies that give you so much optimism for 2016, or is there other things that are making you feel super optimistic about the movement?
I think yeah, there are a number of things. We're in a state of crisis, climate change, and people are starting to look high and low for answers to our health crisis. And I think that social media makes it so easy for information to travel so quickly. And everything that we're doing now is, we get to post all these things that are really personal to us, in these public forums, which are basically like our own little news channels. And I think anytime I mean, it's just, I don't know. I see so many people, like friends, old friends and stuff. They like things that I'll post, and probably if we didn't have the social media, we just wouldn't be connected, and they wouldn't see what I'm all about, what I believe in, and stuff like that. So I guess social media, movies coming out. I think I just see so many signs that veganism is really kind of. I mean, really emerging, I think. Mm-hmm. I hope, anyway. Yeah.
And I was recently reading about, like, McDonald's is suffering a lot of losses, and a lot of fast food restaurants.
Well, I mean, they say losses. It's not fucking true, unfortunately. Like, they're down from where they were previous years and down from projections, but they're still making billions of fucking dollars.
Yeah.
So there are no losses involved. It's not like they're going to disappear. I fucking wish they would. But like it's kind of a misnomer to say, oh, they're suffering losses.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was seeing some store closures, and so that was giving me a little bit of hope.
Oh yeah. And then Mercy for Animals, they post stuff on their blog, and I think you can definitely get a pretty biased perspective if you just read stuff from within the animal rights movement. I think we kind of.
What gives me a lot of hope is every day on my morning commute, I drive by McDonald's that in the mid-'90s was torched by the ALF. So every morning I drive by going, I remember that.
Wow, they torched. I didn't know they torched McDonald's. Wow.
This is early mid-'90s.
Yeah, you guys have been around for a lot longer than I have. I've only been vegan for about 5 years now. So,
I mean, everyone's on their own path, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, like, what got you on that path 5 years ago?
Well, I had been vegetarian probably, 10, 12 years ago. And that was after my girlfriend at the time sat me down in front of a PETA video. And I said, oh shit, okay, this is horrible. And
Meet your meat?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably. Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. And, and that was enough for me to say, this is horrible and I don't want to support this. But I never really got the information about dairy and eggs. So, we were both just vegetarian for a couple of years, and it was never really, I never really gave much thought to animal rights. I just kind of felt like, okay, I'm not participating in that, so okay, I'm doing my part. And it wasn't anything, I didn't go out proselytizing or trying to get other people to be vegetarian. But I stuck with it, and then I got sick, not related to my diet, but I got this rare autoimmune disease, and I'd lost a lot of weight and lost a lot of muscle. And so the first thing that my family could point to that was different was my diet. And so they said, you need to get your protein, So, I said, well, okay, I guess if I'm going to do this, then let me at least get the humane meat. And so my family, they were really, they were supportive, and they went out and they would buy me, local so-called humane meat. And I ate that. And then somehow, without really thinking about it, I just fell right back into eating everything. And for years and years, I was a McDonald's fast food junkie. And then, about 5 years ago, my wife at the time, she came home from her aunt's house, and she said, "Hey, honey, I read this book, Pig Who Sang to the Moon, and I'm going vegan." I said, "Oh, okay." So, I had flashbacks to when I was a vegetarian, and she gave me some information. I think she had a vegan outreach pamphlet, and I looked over that, and I said, this is horrible. I need to really think about this more. And she said, okay, now you need to go watch Earthlings. And I said, oh, okay. So I did that, and I cried my eyes out, and I said, wow, I can't possibly support this anymore. And but the last thing to go for me was I was addicted to McDonald's ice cream sundaes, 99-cent ice cream sundaes. So I would go through the drive-thru and feel really guilty every time I got one. And then I was like, fuck, I need to go back and just watch the dairy segment from Earthlings. And I did that. And that was enough. I just threw my arms up in the air and I said, I'm fucking done. I'm done. And that was it. And then, you know, it just settled in. And one day I came home and I said, yeah, honey, I'm vegan, I guess. So, yeah. And then I just got to feeling like I need to do more. So, yeah, for the past 5 years, I've been slowly growing into my activism. And now it seems like, I don't know, people like this whole chalking thing. So I guess that's why I'm on your show now. Yeah.
I've never heard anyone, their last holdout being anything from McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. It wasn't cheese or anything like that. You know, it was just this one item. Yeah. The McDonald's 99-cent ice cream sundaes.
But
The little, yeah.
what I would fucking give to have 99-cent vegan ice cream though,
Right.
like in a drive-thru. Holy
But-
shit.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think when I was vegetarian, the last non-vegetarian thing that I ate was chicken McNuggets from
Really?
McDonald's.
I don't remember the last non-vegan thing I ate, but I remember the last meat I ate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that, actually.
I only remember the last meat because it was in the middle of an argument with my parents. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Because they wanted, you went vegan on your own, right? When you were pretty young, right?
Yeah, so I went vegetarian at 11 and then vegan at 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that's remarkable.
Eh.
Yeah, I guess you're like a Pythagorean, I guess. Tom Regan would say.
It was more of a you can't tell me what to do, fuck you.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Are your parents vegan now?
Nope.
No.
No,
Okay.
my dad went for about 2 years of, I would say, being pretty close to being vegan, probably in the 90, most of the time. And then is just lazy and gave it up. Yeah. I don't know.
But he knows you're passionately dedicated to animal rights and.
Oh, I mean, yeah, with me, like, it was really interesting. They were like quasi-supportive up until I was arrested by the FBI. And when the FBI raided their house, they became fully supportive at that point. They're like,
wow.
yeah, fuck the government, fuck what they're doing. You know, you're standing up for what you believe in, so we'll fully support you. And since then, they've been really, really supportive of everything.
But they're not vegan.
No. Mm-mm.
Right. Wow. That's interesting. Was it disheartening for you when your dad stopped eating vegan?
It's still disheartening for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like what's really hard for me, they've seen every video. They've seen Earthlings, they've seen Vegucated, they know it, and like they'll preach it to other people sticking up for me all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're just kind of like, meh.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing in the world for me.
And with your dad, it was kind of just laziness too.
It's total lazy with my dad.
Yeah.
My dad actually, he'll still talk about it. Like he wants to be vegan, but I shouldn't say this like this, but fuck it. He doesn't have the backbone to like stand up, and he's too lazy to cook for himself. Yeah.
Yeah. I think family is by far the hardest part for me, for sure.
Jordan's parents have made huge strides, though.
Yeah, just amazing.
I mean, your dad recently, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my mom, she's vegetarian now, and
Yeah, she watched Vegucated. Is that right?
yeah, that's the one that did it for her. Oddly,
Yeah, listen. Should play good side trivia at some point, so I can show you just what a big fan I am.
yeah. But even my dad, he's been eating, like, we'll go over for family dinners, and he'll be like, "Oh, I didn't make," usually he would make like meatballs and then we'd all have like veggie meatballs. But he's like, "Oh no, I'll just eat your veggie meatballs." That's a huge improvement for my dad. So,
okay.
Yeah, I took a month ago. I took his dad to a restaurant in Albuquerque called Vegan Thai, or Thai Vegan, whatever. With one of the two, and it's really good. It's pretty amazing if you're ever in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
But he actually walked out saying that's the best Thai food he's ever had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That it's named Vegan Thai.
Yeah. I was really stoked about going there. Yeah.
Vegan Thai is probably my favorite type of food. So yeah, my my ex-wife and I, we still go to our favorite Thai restaurant here in Raleigh.
Thai is just really good.
What's your favorite Thai dish? Like your go-to?
My go-to, I have such a narrow, a small range, so I tend to order the same thing every time I go.
Uh-huh.
And it's drunken noodles.
Pad Thai Mao.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know.
That's one of my favorites.
Whenever we go, I just say, you just order for me, because she knows exactly how I want. I hate looking at the menu. I just tell her she can get whatever.
Oh, those really thick rice noodles. Oh, they're fucking to die for.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, but family. Back to family. That's for sure. That's the hardest thing for me, because it's especially hard for me because my sister and brother-in-law work for Sargento Cheese, and it's really put a strain on our relationship. And for like the past couple of years, I've just not known how to deal with it. That's by far the hard. And the rest of my family, they're like all really super compassionate people. They love animals. I don't suspect that they have any less empathy for these animals than I do, if they were to actually sit down and watch these videos. But I still can't make sense of why they don't, make the decision just to say, hey, and it's always difficult because I wonder oftentimes if it's just a big failure on my part somehow. Mm-hmm. To not be an effective advocate. So, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think with family, though, it's tough because you are so close to them, and a lot of times they have to hear it from someone else in order for it to click.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Sociologically, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I guess I was so naive in the beginning to feel like, well, I'm your son, I'm your brother, why won't you listen to me? Come on. So
I mean, and to be fair, like to a lot of like my siblings and my family, me at 15, 16-year-old militant vegan kid, I was not a good advocate. Like I'm
right.
I mean, I remember the day I found out Campbell's vegetarian soup started putting beef stock back into their vegetarian vegetable soup, because back in the day it used to be vegan, and I threw the can across my kitchen and broke my dishwasher. So, that doesn't advocate well to your siblings.
No, I know. Yeah, and I that's the hard part about for me being in this movement and having such so much passion and hope, and then so much despair, is that I can get caught up in the anger side, and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, maybe we should just get really fucking angry as a movement and just go raise hell and fucking do all kinds of shit that people aren't gonna like, but maybe that'll force them to listen. But I just, personally, I can't go that route anymore. I just need to be like the happy, joyful vegan.
It doesn't work.
No, I totally want to explore this. Your sister and brother-in-law work for Sargento. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Do they work like in a corporate setting, or they work?
Actually, to be honest, I don't know that my sister is still working there, but my brother-in-law is the one who's been in the cheese industry for like at least 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They're great people, really been close for, my whole life. And, like my older sister, she was a real mentor to me, just in, on moral issues and setting good examples. And, we were extremely close. And I hope that we will be again. But yeah, my brother-in-law, he's a vice president at Sargento.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're pretty tied into it economically, and and I'm from Wisconsin. They still live in Wisconsin, and there, cheese is like another god. And there's the Packers and cheese and bratwurst, and that it's just so normal that, and I think the the idea that they could be doing something that is causing so much suffering, and causing so much environmental damage. I think it would be just really hard to digest if they were to ever really sit down and think about the true consequences of their livelihoods.
Is that really what causes like the falling out? Is it really just the vegan thing?
It is, yeah. It's exactly, it's the main thing. Yep, 100%. Yeah.
What kind of conversations have you had with them about it?
Like almost like very few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like my brother-in-law, I haven't really spoken to him about it except maybe a few years ago when I was in the psychiatric hospital, and I actually thought I had unlocked a whole plan that would bring about animal liberation in like a very short amount of time. I was manic, and then I was on the phone with him, and I just remember him telling me that he said, "Yeah, James, the cows, when they get on that milking carousel, they really enjoy that." And I guess that was some sort of strange justification for everything else that they do to cows. And I really wasn't well versed in everything that goes on in the dairy industry at that point, so I didn't have a great answer. But I think that was actually the last time there was ever really any verbal mention of it. I've tried sending emails, and I've tried really talking mostly with my sister about these issues, but we're just kind of at a standstill. So it's really complicated. I probably shouldn't be going into so many details about our relationship on a podcast, especially if they were to wind up listening. But I don't know.
No, all of us face these issues all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I think it's so great about it. Like, especially my mom, I have the hardest time with her because she's the only non-vegan that I trust to buy me vegan food. Like if she says this is vegan, I know it's vegan, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that to have that level of trust with her, but then to be able to talk with her and she literally just says things like, "Yeah, I know it's wrong. I don't care."
Oh man.
And it just fucking rips my heart out,
Yeah. Yeah, and we could spend the whole rest of this podcast talking about family issues. I have the same issue because my parents, they've thrown up flimsy excuses, which, I'll point out why they're not good reasons. But my dad, was always, a real role model to me. He was always, we grew up Catholic, and he always told me, go out, make it a better day for someone else. And, he's just an extremely compassionate guy. He's just kind of well known for that. And he used to volunteer in prisons, just do prison counseling. He tells me, he prays for chickens using fighting. He prays for bulls using fighting dogs. And then he'll tell me something like, "Yeah, I saw a truck go by the other day carrying a whole bunch of chickens, and I thought of you." And, so he knows on some level what he's supporting, but, he tells me he prays for these animals, and I say, "Okay, Dad, but what about this?" And he'll kind of just look down and say, I know. So to their credit, they recognize the inconsistency there. And I actually feel like maybe they are starting to change a little bit, think about it differently. And I've been kind of trying to approach it a little bit differently with them too. Just I was never good at sharing like recipes or showing them the how part of veganism. I was always so focused on the why. I think for them, just the idea of actually giving up these foods that are, so comforting and so tied to our family traditions is probably just so overwhelming for them right now that, that's probably the main reason why they're not more serious about changing. But they've told me, yeah, we're eating less meat, for the environment and stuff like that. So I think, through different channels, I think the message is getting to them somehow. And, even my sister, my older sister, who, her husband works for Sargento, she says, yeah, we're trying to do better. We're trying to, buy local and all this stuff. So, I no longer look at it as an either or proposition. I see this animal movement on a long spectrum. So I'm more of the mindset now to just look for the bright spots and say, okay, that's great. You're great. That's anything you can do. I try to be a cheerleader for people now because, I always got to remember that I didn't do it overnight either. And maybe people who are so tied into these industries financially, or maybe people who are older and more resistant to change, just, would have a much harder time than even I did. So, yeah.
So you talked about like your dad, like praying for these animals. Were you raised pretty religiously?
Yeah. They weren't, they weren't like Bible bangers, but we went to church every Sunday. Yeah, pretty much. And, we never read the Bible or anything at home. And, we didn't go out and proselytize too much or anything, but, I guess there was a sense, that we were supposed to pray to God and stuff like that. And I'm an atheist now, so that's another divide between us. Because they always throw that up, like, well, you don't believe in God, so why should we believe in veganism? So that's another obstacle that I have to deal with. But yeah, I was raised Catholic, but they never really forced it on me.
Mm-hmm.
No. So
I feel that that's pretty common, at least for me.
Yeah.
My family, they always use that against me. They say, like, they'll all offend them for something religious that I post, or anti-religious, I should say.
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, we don't make fun of your veganism. Like, it's,
okay.
like
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Right. I know. Yeah. And I understand why people do equate it with religion, but, yeah.
What I find interesting is that you find so many activists that are either like super religious and their activism is part of their religious beliefs, or pretty much atheist, right? I don't really find people that are like, yeah, I don't know, or yeah, but I'm not active. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's interesting you should say that, because I don't find too many people who are religious in a movement. I know we're predominantly agnostic or atheist movement. So I don't come across too many, but you have, huh?
Oh yeah. And we've had quite a few on too. I'm trying to think of some of the ones off the top of my head. Bruce Frederick.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
The gay vegans.
The gay vegans. Yeah, they
are. Oh
are.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with them.
They were originally from Colorado, but they just moved to Southern California.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just find it like super interesting. What I love is whenever my parents kind of bring up the religion aspect of it, as far as veganism, I always remind them, I will gladly go to church every single week for every week that you're vegan.
They just don't care that much.
And I like to point out that I obviously care more about veganism than you do about your fake God.
Yeah. Well, my parents, I think they're becoming a little. I don't even think they go to church every Sunday anymore. So they're just becoming a little more relaxed in that department. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll move more away from religion and more toward veganism.
Yeah. What got you more involved into activism in general? Like, how did you go from just being like, oh, I watched, Earthlings and I'm not going to eat McDonald's anymore, to now I'm going to be an activist?
Yeah. Well, it didn't happen overnight. I guess, after, I don't know what really got me thinking, but at some point I was like, I'm vegan, but, I know what's going on. I feel like I should do something more. So I hooked up with Vegan Outreach and went out leafleting a couple times. I leafleted maybe, I don't know, probably less than 10 times. But I always felt very anxious doing that. So I spent really honestly have spent most of the past 5 years studying the movement, a lot more than actually doing any activism. And yeah, it was always just a question for me, what more can I do? What more can I do? And I have, I tend to think in grandiose terms. So, God, I don't want to get this could open up a long discussion, but I'm like, what's holding our movement back? And one of the main obstacles, I think, in some ways, is PETA. So I got to thinking, well, is that enough of an obstacle that we need to do something about that? Do we need to create a new group? So I started really brainstorming that and what that group would look like. Came up with a name and actually did start a nonprofit, and everything is still on paper. And my activism is pretty much just a lot of brainstorming right now. And, sorry, I'm not doing a good job answering.
No worries. So, when you say like PETA in your mind is like the biggest obstacle, why is that a bigger obstacle to our movement than say, other tactics or other organizations?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say they're the biggest obstacle. No, but, in so much as they are the mainstream kind of face of our movement, and for the fact that they continue to do things that really are offensive and, they really, offend feminists and anti-racist activists. I think that's really, really problematic. So, yeah, I mean, it was a big enough problem for me to think that maybe we should start something brand new, but I'm not so sure of that anymore. So I'm just trying to do things more on the grassroots right now. With the whole idea, I started doing the leafleting, didn't feel terribly comfortable with that. I'll still do it, but, I would take my dogs on these hikes every day, and I was like, well, I could just, maybe write a chalk message here. So, I started doing that, and this thing kind of took off now. So now I'm kind of trying to weigh out how far we might be able to take this thing. So
did you want to kind of explain what the Vegan Chalk Challenge is?
Sure. Yeah, it was just, I like I said, I started just chalking the pavement. I'm writing really simple messages and thinking maybe this would do something. So yeah, and then I started posting the pictures on Facebook, and people got excited, and I was like, well, I can keep doing this and keep sharing the pictures. So I would go along the same path pretty much every day, and I kind of started making more and more elaborate messages, and then soon enough there was kind of a buzz in my neighborhood, and so I knew my neighbors were talking about it, and some of them would see me and give me feedback, and they're like, wow, this is great. What are you doing? We love it. And, conversations started cropping up, and I was like, this is a pretty easy form of activism. People really seem to like it, even like non-vegans, because I always try to keep my messages really positive. And so I thought, well, maybe I can just start like a challenge and see if other people would be willing to try to do the same thing. And who knows how many other people we could get doing this around the world, and maybe, spark some kind of mini movement. So I did that. Started an event on Facebook, and the first time we had about 1,200 people sign up.
Jesus.
And, yeah. And unfortunately the follow through is not great. People get very excited about it. This idea, they'll sign up. They might even actually buy a box of chalk, but how people's lives are. So many things get in the way, but enough people did it, around the world that, it created a pretty good buzz the first time. And it was really exciting for me too. So pictures coming in from Australia and Germany and Mexico and Hawaii, everywhere. Yeah, I've kept up with it, and then I decided to start it again. The beginning of the year just seemed like a good, thing to start for the new year, and yeah, we've got like over 800 people signed up now. So, and then we're getting a little bit more media buzz. I've been in a couple blogs now. Care 2 interviewed me, and we're possibly going to get some help from an animal protection PR firm to promote the event. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, to me, there are so many aspects of it that I think are, have a lot of potential. We got people, storming into Whole Foods and, making customers really upset. And I'm like, well, I mean, if we took that same passion and energy and just wrote really peaceful, positive, loving messages all over, really public spaces with high foot traffic, I'm like, oh, what could we potentially accomplish if we did something like this? So I don't know what the possibilities are, but I'm running with it right now. We'll see what happens.
I love that it really kind of came about organically, right? Like every activist I know, in our free time, we always are brainstorming, how can I save the fucking world? How can I do this, right?
Yeah.
And then when you just do something off the cuff and you're like, oh, that's what's going to catch? Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the $1 million question for me, like, what can we do as a movement collectively that would really push this movement forward, and, I was really drawn to Direct Action Everywhere when they started, becoming more prominent, over the past year or so, my feelings have changed. But I'm like, we have to come together and, get this word out there everywhere and get the issues on the table. And I'm like, and so I started to examine this chalking thing, and I'm like, what if we actually had the same numbers of people who are as passionate and as dedicated to animal liberation as, these networks? What if, we just start, and this is utopian, and I'm sure this is naive, and I know that getting vegans, all on the same page to agree to do the same thing would be kind of like trying to herd cats. But, I like, there's so many aspects of it that just really appeal to me, because what I'm doing has actually been very well received by a lot of non-vegans, these people who I see, and they're like, yeah, we're not vegan, but we really love your messages. And I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. I've got, my next door neighbor, he's a big Trump supporter, and and he's a rabid meat eater. And he said, he'll see me. He says, "Hey, when are you going to do your next message?" Yeah. Yeah. Like, I saw your Tolstoy quote. Tolstoy, as long as there are slaughterhouses, there will be battlefields. And it's like, and he enjoys seeing these things. I'm like, okay, this is, maybe there's something to this. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to keep doing it. And it's interesting because, whenever I post these pictures, people just get very excited, so there's something about it that's, I was curious, I guess I'm curious why you guys actually, thought, you'd invite me to be on the show. What was it about this thing that got you guys interested?
Well, I think it's really cool that, like, it's another outlet that allows people an opportunity to do activism, because a lot of times everyone's needed and not everybody can fill the same roles. And I think that some people can be out there protesting, some people can be the ones that write up the bills, some people can are very artistic, and or whatever the case may be, whatever you can do, and it's something different, and it's something like, maybe you're not comfortable having your kids come out to a protest, but you'd be totally comfortable having your kids draw with chalk and writing nice, messages for veganism and stuff like that. And so I thought it was a really great idea.
What I super love about it is anyone who's been an organizer or just an activist for a while, the number one question we get all the time is, how can I organize? How can I get involved? How do I do this? And the simple answer is, well, you just fucking do it, right? Like, we don't know what we're doing. We're just heading into the darkness. But things like this really show you that how easy anyone can do it. It's pretty organic. It's non-threatening in all the, in every way. And I just love how inviting it is for everyone,
I think so. I mean, it's just exactly, and you don't have to the beauty part of it is, I can go out. Today I wrote 2 big, lovely messages. And it really, actually 3, and it took me all of maybe 10 minutes to do these things. And I know that if it doesn't rain, which it's not supposed to for the next few days, I know that literally thousands of people will see these messages. And I'm like, for 10 minutes of my time, that's a huge payoff, So, and I don't have to organize anything. I go out and do it whenever I want on my own schedule. I incorporate it into my daily routine. I use, nice, colorful chalk. Kids are interested. Kids are naturally drawn to these things. And it's just, there are so many seeds I know that are being planted, and I do actually get feedback from people, whether they're just passing me by as they're seeing me do something like this, or I'll get, they'll tell me, "Oh wow, that's a beautiful message what you're doing," and we just get to talking about veganism, or then I'll hear from other vegans in my community, will tell me, "Oh yeah, I saw your drawing out at the lake the other day, and yeah, it was awesome. I got really excited when I saw this." And actually, I have a vegan therapist, and whenever I tell people that, they always get jealous. I'm like, "You got a vegan therapist? Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah, I just got jealous. Thanks.
Yeah. So, when she told me when she saw one of my messages for the first time, she runs on the trails where I ride them, and she said, "Yeah, I saw this message," and she says, "The first time I saw it, I just threw my arms up and said yes." And she says, and then right away I thought to myself, well, maybe this was James who was doing this, and so she asked me, and I was like, yeah, and she says, "Oh, that's awesome." So that was a nice moment for us. And so, in that sense, I think it's not just planting seeds with non-vegans, but I think, what it does too, which I think is a really valuable aspect of this, is that it provides like this sense of validation for people, because I know that, what I'm really, what I get excited about when I see on Facebook are like people, her name is Sandra Higgins. She's running a campaign, in Ireland. I don't know if you guys have seen, they're doing bus ads and billboards, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly what we need. We just need to be really visible. And when I see these things, I feel validated, and I think that other vegans are seeing these things too, or other people who are on the fence about veganism, or maybe that might give them a little nudge in a direction to see that, oh yeah, there's somebody else who is passionate about this, and maybe this is something that I should do. Or somebody who's recently gone vegan might say, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm glad I did this. Somebody else out there who believes that this is really important too. So in that regard, I think it's helping to normalize the term, and that's one thing that I really love about it. There are a lot of things I love about it, which I never really thought about before I started doing this. They just only occurred to me afterward.
One of the things I love about it is like running into a message like that into the wild as an animal rights activist and someone who's vegan. It makes your fucking week. Like, it's more than just your day.
Exactly.
It's a connection with an unknown, right? It's like running into a vegan in the wild for the first time, where you're just out somewhere random.
Exactly.
And you're just like, yeah, we're not alone,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's it. I think it's just that validation, and it's the personal element of it too. You know, I mean, if I'm handing somebody a leaflet, you know, that's something that's been pre-printed, that's mass produced. You know, I mean, and I'm actually, you know, I'm, you know, asking somebody to do something. I'm asking them to take it, and they you know, there's that moment that might actually be a little bit uncomfortable where they're like saying, "Oh, do I have to take this fucking thing just to be nice to this person and then just throw it in the garbage?" Or, you know, I'm sure you guys have leafleted, but yeah,
it's been a while, honestly.
okay, yeah. But that's the feeling I get. You know, it makes me uncomfortable, and there's but, you know, because these messages are personal, and, you know, there is an element of my own personal creativity that I'm putting into it. I think that, you know, people are just a lot more inclined to stop and look and to really, you know, maybe even think about the message more so than they would if it was just something that was mass produced or on the internet, you know. It's just, I don't know, it's more tangible, I think, you know.
So you said you had kind of a falling out with DXE. Is that how you would describe it?
I was never too closely affiliated with DXE. I did a couple disruptions. I didn't say anything. I just went along and I filmed twice, I believe. And I left afterward feeling like, okay, you know, the first time, yeah, I thought it was, you know, maybe there was some potential there. The second time, not so much. And, you know, I've kept tabs on them. There's a local group, and I don't know that they're growing. I think that, you know, North Carolina is a very conservative area. And there's not a whole lot of activism going on around here right now. Not on a regular basis anyway, but it's starting to pick up, and I'm really thankful for these people because they have so much passion and energy, and they're great people, and I would call them my friends. You know, but there's been, you know, I mean, there's been a bit of friction at times because, you know, I will be vocal about, you know, my feelings about DXC based on, you know, the things that I hear happening internally. You know, among the core groups. So I don't know. I guess for me, DXE is kind of a wait and see kind of thing. But in terms of thinking that they're actually going to be able to get the kind of numbers that they need to actually go into stores and, I don't know, really make headlines with this stuff, I don't know that they're going to be able to build very quickly. And I still don't even know, like, if they did get a ton of people to do these same things, I don't know if it would really make a huge difference, or if it would just make people think that we're still, you know, jerks, angry vegan activists, but just there's a lot more of us. I don't know. It's confusing. Yeah. Do you guys have strong opinions on them one way or the other?
Well, I 100% support any activist doing activism the way that they think, that they feel they need to.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm not going to tell an activist how to do what they feel they need to. I don't like that. But I totally understand what they're doing. I understand, like, the motivation behind it, because we've all been there where we just want to scream at somebody, and not scream, but we just, you know, you want to be able to say, you're fucking wrong. This is horrible, and you need to be held accountable for this, right?
Right.
So I get all of the emotions behind it. I don't necessarily like the way that they approach it. And in talking with some of their core organizers and things like that, I don't necessarily like the approach that they even take to the activists going into it, as far as knowing what full consequences could be, really understanding what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I take issues with some of those things.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about DXC for a long time. I'm sure I've spent hours and hours talking about them, and I don't know. You know, one minute I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're gonna completely crumble, they're gonna implode, And then the next, I'm like, oh, maybe they are onto something. But yeah, I'm more and more I am moving in a much different direction. And it's mostly because I see the kind of results that I'm getting with taking a very, I don't know, a much different, a much less invasive approach with this whole chalk thing, and just weighing out for myself, the how much return I'm getting on my investment by taking, 10, 15 minutes to write these messages where I know thousands of people are going to see them. And I think, in that same sense, I think that, anytime you are putting a vegan message out there, whether it's, using the rhetoric of it's not food, it's violence, or if you're putting out a message that says, vegan is love, I think both of those things are disruptive.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I do like about DXE is they're getting people out, right? There's grassroots organizations that's getting people out and being active. And I got to give it to them for that, because, they are. They're getting people active who weren't active before or had never thought about it. But that's also why I like your chalking, because it shows people another way that they can get active, and you're getting lots and lots of people active worldwide. And that must be like just an amazing feeling,
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it's cool. It's a little surreal for sure. Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, okay, let's all do this. I'm like, let's just, I'm like direct chalking everywhere. That's part of me feels like, what if we as vegans, actually just committed to going out and like, when it's not raining, just writing one really lovely message in a really, high traffic area. There would literally be thousands and thousands and thousands of messages everywhere around the world every day. So, in that sense, I'm like, it's pretty low cost. It's, but
I think that repetitiveness of people seeing those type of messages is the key to it. It's not necessarily the first time they see the message, but it might be the 50th time they see this message, and that constant repetition. Have you ever heard of anything negative happening to an activist for doing the chalking? Like someone either being arrested or threatened or anything like that?
No, not yet. That question comes up a lot. I know that there were a few activists in Oregon who were arrested for doing some chalkings outside of, I think it was a vivisector.
Yeah, that was the AETA-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that was in. I think the AETA-4 was in California, possibly.
I can't remember now. I'm getting old.
Okay.
Mixing up all my events, but
this is not too long ago. They're the ones from the No New Animal Lab campaign.
Okay, so they'd be different.
Those would be newer ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is newer. Yeah. So they were arrested. Not arrested, but they were charged. I think harassment and criminal mischief, something else. But I think that was mostly because it was like really, it was messages targeting somebody in front of their home. But, in terms of, anybody like leaving, a really innocuous message, like, vegan is love, or just something about compassion, empathy, peace, anything like that. I've never heard of anybody having any trouble. Nobody who's, started doing the vegan chalk challenge has reported anything like that to me. And, when people are concerned about these, the potential for getting into trouble, I say if they're worried, just call their city and find out for sure. But I like to think that, the cops have much bigger things to worry about than this. So, I don't see too much risk. Certainly, I think it's much less risky than a lot of other forms of activism. So.
One of the things that I know is challenging for myself is every single time I picked up a piece of chalk and went to do anything like non-activist wise, even just anything, I always end up drawing really vulgar things. So staying away from that, I think, is my challenge.
Well, that's what they told me when I called the city. They said, as long as it washes away and it's not obscene, then you're good. So. Yeah, I don't know what the official law is. I didn't, it's like, And when I called them, I was like, is it okay for my kids to write on the sidewalk? I didn't exactly say, yeah, I'm going to be writing like hundreds of messages all over Raleigh. Is that okay?
But they gave you the thumbs up, because if it's okay for,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting aspect of it, I think, because if they really did start to crack down on it, then it does call into question First Amendment rights. And, like, well, what are you going to do? Just ban, chalking, kids, doing sidewalk chalking and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty hard to crack down on. And I would think there would be, parents and people who, would get upset about that stuff too. So it could actually help us out. I don't know.
So is it set up now that it's like you can chalk anytime and just kind of upload it to the website, or do you have like set days where it's like everyone, let's try to get as many messages out on this day as possible?
It's just do it whenever you want to do it. Yeah, I don't know how to incentivize it or anything like that. I thought about, what if we could get people to sponsor this? Say, give out awards for, most creative, most beautiful message, most scenic picture, most messages in one day, something like that. But yeah, right now it's just really kind of do it whenever you can, whenever you want. And there are some people, I just got a message today from somebody in Pune, I think that's how you say it, Pune, India?
Pune.
Oh, Pune. Oh,
Pune, yes.
Okay, yeah.
They have a pretty thriving animal rights community out in Pune. One of their politicians is actually vegan. It's an older lady. She started an organization called People for Animals.
Okay, yeah. So I just started finding out about that, and this woman on there today, she said, "Oh yeah, we love this chalking thing, and a lot more people are doing it now, and we're going to keep doing tons of it." So I was like, "Oh my god, wow, okay."
I actually have some friends who live in Pune. I'll have to ask them about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah, I'm seeing like there's a big one. They did a huge one. Something, choose compassion, watch Earthlings, something like that, and a big group of people. And that's another thing that I really love about it too, is the whole community aspect of it. Like a couple of weeks ago, we got a few people together, and we just went out and did this all together and made a little video, and just had a lot of fun doing it, and interviewed some people as they were walking by, asked for their reactions, and overwhelmingly, people were, stopping and saying, "Oh, wow, it's really interesting what you're doing." I think it's just, there's a certain novelty to it. People just it's very unexpected to see adults just chalking messages in the park. So I think that's another aspect of it that makes it more memorable.
Well, I'll throw it out there. If any listener puts the chalk out there and puts which side at the bottom of their chalk and posts it, I'll send them a fucking patch.
Oh, well, can I do that?
Of course.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing about it too, is that with these things, I do shout outs with my chalking. So I've managed to get the attention of some people that way. Like I did some for the Veganuary campaign.
Yeah, nice.
And they shared it, and that one picture got like 3,000 likes. So yeah, it's definitely, there's all sorts of possibilities with this, and I'm like, what if I just started chalking shout outs to vegan celebrities, and we got Russell Simmons to share this, and and then he, who knows, maybe he'll go out and do one himself, and that would get a whole bunch of other people to do it, and I'm like. And what's also interesting about this too is that somebody was telling me that they started seeing other chalk messages show up in Raleigh that are not vegan related, but they just really, I don't know, just general messages about hope and love and kindness and stuff like that, or like encouraging messages like you can do it, keep going, So I don't, this doesn't have to be limited to just vegan stuff. I'm like, part of the exciting thing of this for me is that it's an opportunity to kind of reclaim public spaces that are just totally overrun by corporate advertising and, all these things that I don't want to see. So this is a way for me to just kind of take that back in a pretty, a pretty innocuous way. So, yeah.
Well, I can't believe it's already been an hour.
Has it been an hour? Oh, shoot. Okay.
How can people find out more about the Vegan Chalk Challenge and get involved and contact you?
Get a damn patch.
Yeah. We're just on Facebook right now, so that's all it is. We just search Vegan Chalk Challenge on Facebook. We got a community page. There is a group page if you want to sign up to join the group and just post your pictures in there. And then the page with all the information, and it's got a long list of messages you can write, and it's got a link to where to buy chalk. And so I try to make it as easy as possible for people. There's an event page for that too. If you just type in Vegan Chalk Challenge, you'll find that. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Well,
yeah.
Well, you know how we end every episode, right?
Oh yeah, fuck shit damn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh well, thank you so much.
Have you had any other guests where you didn't have to prompt them to tell them what to say?
Sure.
We've had a couple say I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you're the
I
first without
actually
a
forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, thanks for spending your night with us, man.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. It was my pleasure. You guys are super awesome, and I'm glad. I'm gonna write a note to myself to tell all my friends to go to iTunes and like you guys and write a review.
This week you heard
Conductor 71 by Fujiya and Miyagi.
Right now you're listening to
Reset by MUTEMATH.
iTunes. Hey, it'd be super cool if you hooked us up and rate and review the show. Even if you just kind of sort of like the content, go do it for us. It really helps us out.
You hook us up, we'll hook you up.
That's how it works. You scratch my back, we'll scratch your back. We give you free content, you give us a review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You could always give us $1 too if you wanted.
Oh, no, we'll gladly take it.
$1.
There's a lot of podcasters that's what they do. They ask for $1 per episode. We don't even do that.
I could maybe quit my job.
Oh yeah, we would both be able to quit our jobs.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, if we got $1 per episode from every one of our listeners.
Maybe just send us $1 instead. Or go to the Collective store and buy something.
Yeah, $5 shirts this month, or $5 off shirts this month.
$5 off shirts this month. We don't want to kill ourselves. If you're not yet our friends, be our friend. Like us, follow us. We talk on there. I post recipes from other people because I'm too lazy to write my own. And you can say hi. We'll say hi back.
We'll say, what up?
I also make stupid dad jokes.
Me too. A lot.
Online.
Oh, no. I'm in real life all the time. Yeah.
So, yeah, be our friend. WhicHsidePodcast.com. Click on the social tab.
Is it very dad-like to say fuck shit damn all the time?
Yeah. I'd say so.
Okay. Then fuck shit damn.
Fucking kids.
Fucking kids.
Shitting on my damn sofa.
I really hope that's not from your personal life.
I don't want to talk about it.
Which Side Podcast is hosted and produced by Jordan Halliday and Jeremy Parkin of the Which Side Media Collective, with web design by Jordan Halliday and sound design by Jeremy Parkin. Booking by Mari Halliday. Theme music by Commandantes. Go to whichsidecollective.org to check out the other shows in the collective. As always, fuck shit damn.